Today I'm doing something slightly spicy and kind of fun as well. I am a huge fan of tier lists on YouTube, and especially League of Legends ones because I find the characters super interesting. And today we're gonna be ranking all the League of Legends champions based on who I would marry. So the idea is the person walks up and asks you to get married, right? What do you say? Where on the scale are they? You know what I mean? And I'm sure this is gonna be kind of spicy, but also there's reasonings behind what I say. So I'll be ranking them based on a few things, right? Personality is the primary one, because at the end of the day, they can look as hot as they want, but if they are a bratty butthole, I don't really want anything to do with them. And number two is also a little bit obvious. It's how do they look? Do you, for instance, do you want to date someone that looks like a demon? There are demonic people in this game, things like that. We'll consider that as well. And also the sexual aspect a little bit, but we're not gonna go too into detail with that. It's more of it's also something to consider if you are marrying somebody. I don't think you should consider it super highly, but I think it's a valid concern as well. So those are the three big criteria, and I'm gonna be using the lore of the characters to base the personality off of, not what they're actually like in the game. What they're like in the game doesn't matter too much, in the sense that they could be very different gameplay-wise and lore-wise. So I'm gonna focus on the lore primarily. The tiers are, yes, on the spot, so someone I would marry, and then would date. I feel like that's pretty obvious. You would want to get to know them, see if they're your type, etc. Would say no is just a simple, no, I'm not interested. It's very the base level of basic. Then there's would be friends with, which is for the people that you're not into, but at the same time, they would make a good friend, you know? And then one night stand is fairly obvious. It's a one night stand, we all know what that means. And then run the other way means no, you're running. It's I would just, no, get out of there. And then legal issues, because there's some champions that are underage, and we're just gonna lob them all in there and not really worry about them. We're not gonna evaluate them because they're not legal. So it's that simple. I will also say one thing before I begin, is that there are actually two things. First off, this is obviously going to be a little bit personal to some extent, right? It's just the nature of a tier list, is its personal opinion. If you disagree or you agree, you can always comment on it. I'm okay with that. And then secondly, there's also another thing, and that is I watched a tier list about how good of a parent the League of Legends champions would be, and I will say that was very lore-based, and I am basing a lot of my lore knowledge on that video, simply because I think that being a good parent is also something that's needed in a long-lasting relationship. I will say that that's probably part of the personality aspect, and in general, if they don't have a personality that I'm looking for, I don't think I would choose them anyway. It seems kind of dumb to say that, but at the end of the day, if you don't like their personality, who cares about all the other stuff? So if they don't pass number one, we're just gonna leave it with that, because that would include their personality, what I think about them, and also how good of a parent they are, which is part of how I would evaluate a guy. I will also say that a lot of women might not make it very high on the tier list, just because I'm not interested in women like that. Some of them could make it to friend tier. I'm not saying that I would not befriend any of them, but I wouldn't be interested in marrying any of them. So, let's start out with Aatrox. Aatrox is essentially a god of war, and he's very, very angry. I think that having someone with anger issues might not be a great idea. I don't think he's so bad that you just have to run the other way, though. Somebody put him in would say no. I think he's like, yes, he's like kind of monstrous looking, but at the end of the day, I don't think he would kill you. I don't think he's like harmful. I think that he's more just like a annoyance kind of thing. And because of his anger, I would probably just say no. But he doesn't strike me as necessarily violent if he's not actively in a war type situation. Alright, Ahri. So the lore behind Ahri is she lures people in and then sucks out their life forces in order to keep herself alive. What does that mean? It means that you probably would end up going on a date with Ahri because she lures you in, and then because of the way she works, there's just not a second date. There's like one date and that's it. So either that goes in one night stand, or it goes in would date, because you are gonna date her once and then that's it. So I'm gonna put her in would date because I feel like one night stand, you don't get to that point with Ahri. She steals your soul before then. So I'm gonna say would date, right? And you know what? No, I think it makes more sense with one night stand because her whole thing is that she charms you. You get all like flattered about her, and then that's it. And then she just sucks out your life forces, and yeah, that's it. Akali is pretty cool. I'm not really interested in her, but like, yeah, I think I'll just put her and would say no. Above Aatrox, though, because she's not angry, she's just kind of not interesting. She's an assassin, she could kill you if you cross her, So there is that. But I think say no is fine. I don't think you need to, like, run away. I don't think you actually need to run away, and she's also not really the type I'd be friends with. So that one's fairly simple. Akshayan is someone who is very bratty, so he also just kind of goes here. He goes above Akali, I think. And he likes showing off. It's not something I'm a huge fan of. I don't know. There's other characters that are very much like him, but this guy is a little bit less than them. He's a little less, like, egotistical than some of the others, but he is very much a show-off. Alistar is someone that's also very angry, but also I don't think he'll control himself, so he's probably run the other way. Also, he's got, like, demonic eyes. Look at that. Like, he's got red eyes. You already know it's bad. Amumu, illegal, child. He is a mummy who was basically a child when he became a mummy. Technically, he's really old at the moment, but yeah, no, like, he has the mind of a child, so that's legal issues. And Nivea, omnipotent bird made out of ice. I think, pardon the pun, I think she'd be cool to hang out with. I'm not interested in dating her, but I would want to be friends with her. Annie is a child. She is like 8 or 9 years old, and she controls fire magic. She also killed her parents, so yeah, no. Aphelios is... I think he's just a no, because what he doesn't talk, which, that's alright, but he communicates with his dead sister, who is like a spirit type thing. I don't know that I could live with someone who essentially talks to ghosts. I think that's worse than both Akshayan and Akali. I would say no to that quicker than these people. Actually, I think... Wait, how do we put this? Do I put the ones that I would... I think like this, right? So this is the people I would say no to the most, and then it goes this way. Okay, perfect. I think I would actually say no to Akshayan before saying no to Akali, because Akshayan is like bratty. Akali is just... She's there because she's a lady, and I'm not really into that. Then we have Ashe. Ashe is an archer from Freljord, and basically she shoots frost arrows, and she's also married, so I'm gonna put her in legal issues, but not because she's a child, but because she's married. And we're gonna bring her husband up right away, which is this guy, Trundle. He goes right next to her. They are married, and that's not right. I'm actually gonna rename to legal/other issues. Oh, why is that like that? That's weird. Hold on. Legal/other issues. Why does it put it like this? I don't know why this doesn't work. I actually know how to fix it. Hold on. I can add a row below, and we're gonna... Yeah. Alright, so we're just gonna make it this one. I've never made a tier list before, can you tell? Not legal or other issues. Right, so that way, like, and we're gonna paint that one gray. So that way this one is gonna be like kids and married people, basically. And we're gonna delete that one. Alright, there we go. Okay, perfect, let's move on. Aurelian's soul is cool. He's really cool. So Aurelian's soul basically forged the universe in the League of Legends lore. So he's basically God, which, I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna put him in Wood Date. He is a little bit like, he definitely has the bad boy vibe, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I think it works for him because he's literally a god. Like, I don't know. I don't think you can put him lower than this, but I wouldn't marry him because that would get annoying. That'd get really annoying very quickly. Asir also goes... I think he goes in one night stand because this guy can, like, summon sand soldiers. Like, that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I'll put that here. Why not? That's kind of fun, right? I don't think I would marry him because he's also the leader of Shurima, which is one of the places in the League of Legends lore. And he's an emperor. And all he talks about is Shurima and how he wants to rule Shurima, how he's gonna make Shurima the best place, all of that stuff. His heart is definitely in the right place and he cares a lot about Shurima, but the problem is he only cares about Shurima. If that guy marries you, it's because the marriage is going to literally be to some kind of benefit for Shurima. It's like, alright, I'm gonna marry you so that there's not gonna be war here or something. Also, now that I say that, I'm gonna actually put him in Would Say No, because I feel like he wouldn't be the one-night stand type either. He definitely wouldn't do that anyway. He would never, like, he would never even, like, touch you. He would just be married to you on paper and that's it. He wouldn't even, like, hug you or anything. No. There's nothing with this guy at all, other than this is for the benefit of Shurima, that's it. So he goes in no. I guess in that sense you could put him and run the other way, because is he gonna attack you if you don't? Probably not. He doesn't seem like the type. He seems like a smart guy. Bard is, as far as I remember, if I know this correctly, he's a celestial spirit, and he's like a big, cuddly... He looks like a teddy bear, basically, like a celestial teddy bear. I would be friends with that. That's cool. That would be fun. He does not really talk. He makes musical sounds, but I mean, I will take it. That's pretty fun. I'll take it. Friend, for sure. Blitzcrank is a robot. Yeah, I mean, he probably wouldn't ask in the first place. I mean, no? Robot? No. Probably not. I could see the argument for one night stand in the sense that you could just, like, install things on him, but I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I'm just gonna say no because I feel like no matter what, it doesn't really make sense. I don't think so. Brand is on fire. Run. This dude's a man on fire. Just run away from him. Braum would marry instantly. This guy he has the best personality in the game, by far. Or at least, well, there's probably a few that rivals him, but this is definitely one of the best ones. All he cares about is helping his people. He literally will shield for you in the game. He also shields for people in the lore. He literally saved a kid from, like, being stuck inside a mountain, and that's how the door was a magical door, and now he uses that as, like, his shield, because he couldn't break the door. Other than that, you see him, like, put out fires, you see him save people. He's just a really awesome dude. And one of his first champion trailers was him saving a little, like, what is essentially a hamster-looking thing? I don't know what to call them. They're called poros in League of Legends. And basically this was, like, in a war zone type area. And he comes and, like, shields for the little poro when the arrows come flying. And it's the cutest thing ever. Like, yes, this man cares about animals, he cares about people, he cares about everybody. And he cares about you. Like, if you end up marrying him, he seems like the type of guy who would commit to you, from what I've seen. But yeah, definitely yes. Caitlyn, just kinda no. Another woman I don't really care much for. She's a cop, which, I mean, fine. She has a bit more personality after Arcane, which, I mean, you could argue she should go other issues. she wouldn't be interested in... Well, maybe, actually. In Arcane, it seems like she's into Vi, which kind of means that she probably wouldn't ask in the first place, but I'm just gonna put her and would say no. Camille is slightly scary. She has knives on her legs, which, that's dangerous. I feel like that's part of, like, why I would run. I don't think she'd be violent. She has experienced love in her lore, so I don't think she'd be actively violent, but knives for legs is a danger. I'm gonna, like, put her here, but I am gonna say, like... Wait, I'm actually gonna rearrange these a little bit. Cassiopeia, she is basically Medusa, which is scary, because if you look at her, you could risk dying, so that's literally run the other way. Like, that is actually very literal run the other way. Because if you look at her, you could die, so clearly the other way is the better way. Cho'Gath, run the other way. Scary void monster. Bunch of teeth. His body is full of spikes. There's nothing you can do. You can't hug him. He probably doesn't know, like, what hugging means. Dude would eat you. His literal, like, champion is to just, like, eat things. He wants to eat the world, according to the lore. Like, everything is just bad, I don't know. Corki, I am unsure about his age, so I'm gonna put him in legal or other issues. He looks old, but Yordles are deceptively young/old, and you don't really know. And I have no clue how old Corki is. He looks like he is an adult, in which case he'd probably just go in no, because he's just like a little guy with a plane. He, like, flies a little plane around. I'm putting him in legal issues, though, because I don't know. I'm unclear on Corki, so I'm gonna put him there. Darius is a fighter for Demacia. He does own his own inn, which gives him a little bit of bonus points in the sense that he'd probably be fairly okay to hang out with then. Probably means he doesn't kill people on the day-to-day basis. I think I'm gonna put him in friends category, because he's actually a pretty chill guy in the lore. So I'm gonna put him here. I'm actually gonna put him above these guys here. I'm actually gonna do this, because I feel like he'd be more fun to hang out with than someone who can't talk and just makes musical sounds, or an ice bird. And yes, the ice bird can talk, in case you're curious. Diana is... It's kind of like hanging out with someone who's very religious and will only talk about their religion. So in that sense, she kind of goes next to a seer, because she has this whole, like, moon thing going on, which is basically all her conversations in the game is all about the moon. The only thing Diana has going for her is that she is kind of funny. She makes puns, which I do enjoy a good pun. So that's why she goes before a seer. I would say no to a seer before Diana. Actually, I think that actually just, like, puts her above the rest of the women, because at least she has the dad jokes going on. Yeah, I'll put her... I'll say no to the rest of the women before her, sure. Why not? I actually think we should put Knife Legs Lady here, because she has knives for legs. That I'm considering bumping her down to run away, but I just don't think she fits with these, like, monstrous characters and Medusa. Like, Draven is like Akshayan, but worse. He is even more self-entitled, so he goes... I think he goes here. I'd rather have a self-entitled guy than someone who literally has, like, the risk of, like, starting a war, but at the end of the day, I think a robot is better than someone who is this entitled. Like, Akshayan is kind of funny while being entitled, but Draven is just straight up, watch me or don't watch anything, kind of thing. Dr. Mundo, you run away from him. I mean, you can already tell by this little picture right here how bad Mundo is. I'm gonna put him here. And the reason I'm gonna put him there is because he, in his full art, he literally has needles in his arms. And he thinks he's a doctor, but he isn't, which is also kind of scary. Like, this dude is just straight up scary. Like, you can't say anything that run the other way. He wouldn't even ask before you ran, you know? Echo, depending on what lore you look at, he's kind of a kid. As far as I know, he is above 18, but I'm not gonna rank him. Like, if I'm in doubt, I'm just putting them in the kid category. Elise, she can turn into a spider, and she can also make spiders, which is kind of scary, but also kind of cool. I'll put her, like, I don't know. I think I'll just put her in run away because I don't feel like hanging out with the spider is all that cool. I guess say no is like fine, right? I'll put her like below Knife's Leg Lady. Evelyn goes in one night stand because of what Evelyn is. She does the same thing as Ahri, except she kills you and doesn't drain your life. Ahri will drain your life forces as soon as you get close to her. Evelyn will lure you in. Her whole thing is to be a succubus. We're gonna put her on one night stand and you're literally not alive afterwards. It's sad, but you're not alive after these two. Ezreal is an adult. He's actually an explorer. I think that'd be kind of cool to hang out with. The only problem is he is a little bit bratty. I think he's like Akshayan level of brat, so I think I'll put him like next to Akshayan probably. Fiddlesticks, scary monster, run away. His whole thing is to fear people. No thank you. Fiora is a no because she also seems like the type of person who would actually maybe do something. She's very good with swords. She specializes in fencing and she cares very much about what she's doing. In that aspect, she's kind of like Diana, but not funny. So it's kind of the same thing like a seer. Maybe we do this. I just feel like I would rather have someone who sometimes has swords on her than someone who has like knives on their legs. Fizz is probably a child. It's unclear. Galio, he's pretty cool. I'm gonna put him in Wood Date because he is also known as being a protector. He's not as cool as this guy, definitely not, but he is a protector, and in general, all he really does is he is just a gargoyle who protects people. Gangplank is someone you don't want to mess with. He will be controlling, I think. He's the type of person who would be controlling, and he's also a pirate. Like, that's a little bit scary. I think I'm just gonna put him above the entitled guy, because I feel like having someone who's entitled is not as bad as having someone who might snap on you, you know? Actually, with that, I think he goes above Aatrox as well, because Aatrox doesn't strike me as someone who would, like, actually harm you, but Gangplank would probably harm you. The problem is, if you put him in run away, he might harm you for running. That's the thing, he might shoot. So it's kind of a lose-lose with Gangplank, no matter what you do. So I think being polite about saying no is better than running in that scenario. Garen, he's just kind of a normal dude with a sword. He fights for his kingdom, Demacia, and that's about it. Like, he's fairly chill. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'll put him like here. Yeah, seems about right. He's not horrible, but I'm not really interested in him either. Gnar, unclear. He was frozen for a bunch of years, so it's kind of like a Mumu, where it's like, well, technically they're kids, but they're also kind of old. I don't know. Gragas is a drunk. That's a no-go for me. I'll put him here. A drunk guy? That's not really my thing. Graves is kind of cool, but not really. He has some cool things going on. Guess I'll put him there. I mean, actually, like this, probably. Garen is more basic, but also seems more chill than Graves. He probably also goes above Ezreal like this. Gwen is also a child as far as I know. She's technically a doll that came to life. Hecarim is a ghost horse. That's a run. Heimerdinger is a professor, and if you watch Arcane, you'll know that Heimer is actually pretty old. I think Heimerdinger would be a fun friend. I feel like he would be fun to hang out with. He's an inventor. He seems really cool, especially in Arcane. Seemed helpful in one of the later episodes. Very nice dude. I would probably be friends with Heimer. He seems nice. Illaoi is an interesting one. I'm gonna go with no on that one. I know a lot of people would argue one night stand for Illaoi, but no. No. I'm gonna put her like here. Actually, like that. I think spiders are more scary, but basically she summons tentacles. You can draw your own conclusions on that one. I don't. I'm gonna say no, but I know a lot of people would argue for one night stand on Illaoi. Irelia is kind of like Fiora, where it's like she has blades, but at least she can dance, so I think that bumps her up by a little bit. I think she goes like here. I feel like I would say no. Well, Does she go above Diana? Yeah, I think so. I think I'd say no to Diana before Irelia. Next is Ivern. Ivern is a tree. I don't know about Ivern. Like, I mean, he seems fairly chill. He was a serial killer, but he's not anymore. I'm gonna put him on the bottom of Runaway. Because I'm actually gonna rearrange these a little bit. Because I feel like Janna, she's cool. I don't know. Like, she's really basic. I think she just kind of goes next to Caitlyn. I think she's cuter than Caitlyn, so I'll put her here. But, like, not much of a difference to me. Jarvan is pretty cool. I don't really know much about Jarvan other than I've heard that LeBlanc is disguised as him. I'll put him, like, next to Graves, because he's also, like, kind of angry at times. But at least he also, like, fights for the good as far as I know. So I'll put him here. Why not? Jax is cool because he will fight anyone with a lamppost and claim that he is now beating you with a weapon that's not even, optimal. I guess being friends with him would be kind of cool because he's, like, a really good fighter, so maybe he could teach you some stuff. Yeah, sure, let's put him in friends. Why not? Jace has the same attitude that Draven has, so I'm gonna put him here. I think I'm gonna put him above Draven in the no category, because Draven is a little bit more funny in my opinion, whereas this guy is just entitled, so... Jhin, holy cow, yeah, one night stand easy. This guy he is crazy, and you should probably run away from him, but man is he interesting. But he's interesting. Like, it's mysterious, it's cool. I don't know. You can call me crazy, because it is kind of crazy. But he goes there. Jinx, on the other hand, goes in the runaway tier because she is crazy in a different way. Jinx went crazy, and at least with Jhin, it's kind of like, well, he makes an art out of everything, which is kind of cool, and, like, it's interesting to look at. But Jinx is just kind of like, where's the trigger? Let me pull it, right? Kai'Sa came from the Void, and she is Kassadin's daughter. He's right here. She has more personality than a lot of the ladies on this list. I'm gonna say that she probably goes into friends, because she seems cool to talk to, you know what I mean? I wouldn't date her, but she seems like a fun person in the sense that imagine how much you could learn about the Void from her. Callista is really scary. She has a soulbound, which means that if you're the soulbound, she'll care about you. If not, then she's not gonna care at all. So this is not really something I think I want to mess with. I'm gonna put her here. I don't think she's as scary as some of the other monsters, but at the same time, kinda scary. Karma is fairly chill. She probably goes in, like, probably, like, here. She's really nice, that's why she goes above the other ladies. Janna is also nice, but she's a little more basic. So I'm gonna put Karma here. She's all about the spiritual world and, like, meditation and stuff like that. So that's also kind of cool. I wouldn't mind that. That's alright. Karthus is, as far as I know, dead, and when he sings, people die, so run away from him. He probably actually goes above the rest here because he actually kills things with his singing. Kassadin, he goes and would date because he's a great dad. He went to the Void and back to save his daughter. And honestly, enough said. What a good dad. 100%. Like, yeah, he might have, like, a weird Darth Vader-y voice. Who cares? He might not know a lot of things about the human world yet. Who cares? It's fine. He can learn. I'm sure he can learn. Would date Kassadin. Katarina goes next to Garen, but she goes above Garen like this. Basically, she is interesting enough to put here, I think, but at the same time, it's also just kinda, I want to put her next to Garen, because, it's a Noxian, Demacian, star-crossed lovers situation, kinda cool. Yeah, it's one of those stories I'm a fan of. Alright, Kayle, she's all about justice and things like this. I'm gonna put her here. Actually, no. I think I'm gonna put her here. I think, actually, Camille goes here. Because these people are, like, people that could actively harm you. I don't think Camille would do it on purpose. That would just kind of be, like, if you are with her. Like, imagine sitting in a sofa and she, like, gets up and she accidentally cuts your leg because her legs have knives on them. It doesn't mean that she did it on purpose, but it means it's a problem. And yeah, having a brat around would be annoying, but at the end of the day, it's better than getting your leg sliced open, so, I'll take that. Kayn is, he's an interesting case because he's a guy and a Darkin, which in one form will take over and in the other form will not, and you basically choose each game which one you want to play. Now, either he's gonna be fighting his demon the whole time, which I guess is fair, but I don't know that I like the idea of it. Also, if the demon ever takes over, I feel like you might be doomed, right? I don't think in the base form that he will, like, kill you or anything, so I'm just gonna put him in would say no. But he goes above some of these. He goes in the accidental harm category, I feel like. Because if he turns into the demon, he'll probably harm you more than Camille, honestly. I will give him some credit for having an ultimate that literally makes him go inside people. So there is that you can think about. But yeah, no, I still think I'll put him there. Kennen, a Yordle made of lightning. He can control it though. I don't know. I think he's a kid, but I'm unclear on this one too. So I'm gonna put him here, just in case. Kha'Zix is a bug. Run the other way. He's gonna slice you. He is a run the other way. He goes here, because he'll harm you, whereas this guy will just, like, scare you, as far as I know. Cho'Gath would also harm you, so it goes like this. Dr. Mundo would maybe harm you. Lamb and Wolf is really cool, actually. I think I would put them in be friends with, because I think it would be kind of interesting, Lamb is really nice. Lamb is a really nice person and Wolf is, like, kind of an asshole. But at the end of the day, like, that's just kind of how the kindred works. They also have this line that says, never one without the other, where Lamb says never one and Wolf says without the other. So you can't really pick and choose between them. I think I'll just put them in the bottom of the friend category because I feel like that's where they belong. Kled is absolutely hilarious to listen to. He goes... I think he goes, like, here-ish. He's a Yordle that has every military title in League of Legends. And, yeah, he has the most interesting things to say. He's very random and very funny. I don't want to put him in Wood Date, though, because I feel like that's pushing it a lot. But he would definitely be a really funny person to just hang out with. Kog'Maw... I don't know if he's a child. I don't think so. But he sounds like a child, though. I'm gonna put him here. He sounds like a child, but he might not be. No matter what, it's run the other way or it's illegal. LeBlanc is... The only thing LeBlanc has going for her is she can make a clone of herself. It's not interesting enough to put in Would Date category. I think she goes here. Little more interesting than some of these other ladies. Like this, probably. Lee Sin would date, because if he chose to date you, basically the thing about Lee Sin is he's blind. If someone blind wants to go on a date with you without having seen what you look like in their life, I feel like that deserves some bonus points, and I'm gonna put that in would date because of that. I think the fact that someone chooses personality over anything else is that's really nice. And yeah, and he has a really nice personality too, I think. He might be a little devoted to his craft, but that's okay. I think I'm okay with that though. Like, being devoted to a craft is okay. I think he actually goes up here because he chooses based on personality. These people don't do that. These people just have, like, cool personalities, in some way or another. Leona goes next to Diana because she is the same as Diana, except her people worship the sun and not the moon. I'll put Diana, like, below Leona just because her puns are slightly better than Leona's puns. Lilia, I don't know, she sounds like a child? I'm unclear on her. It's kind of like with Kog'Maw and Kennen, where it's like, they sound like kids, but I don't know if they technically are. Lysandra, I think she goes in, like, the bottom of Runaway. Lysandra freezes everything and is also kind of set up as, like, an evil character. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Runaway, but she's better than most of these monsters. Lucian goes down here because he's married and will go find his wife right away. Where is she? Senna. There we go. They go there because they're married. Lulu. She is a child and also a little bit bananas. She sounds bananas, you know what I mean? Lux is the sister of Garen. She has a really annoying laugh, though. So she goes, like, way above the list somewhere. Here, I think. So she goes beneath the people who will scare you, and the people who will harm you, and the bratty people. And then Malphite here, he's just kind of a rock. I don't think he needs to be in the run away from them category, because at the end of the day, he's just like a rock monster that can talk. He doesn't really seem to want to harm anybody, so I'm gonna just like put him here. He could probably accidentally harm you just like these two, but not in the same like scope as Camille or Kane. I will say though, he might go up here because of Chip. Yeah, honestly here. Because Chip from Legends of Runeterra is like a little rock that it basically like chipped off of Malphite, and now he's being the father of it. Like, and from what I can tell, he seems to be protective of it. So I'm gonna actually put him here because that's something that I value a lot. So I'm gonna put him there. Malzahar, he is a void guy. As far as I remember, he turned evil and he can't reverse it. So I'm gonna go with you should probably run. He's worse than scaring you because he's a legitimate threat, but I don't know if he would legitimately harm you like these people will. Maokai cares about nature, and is just kind of like he's just like a tree. He's fine. Honestly, we're gonna split this couple up, because I don't like having Katarina. I'm gonna put Katarina up there. I would say no to Katarina before saying no to Maokai. I would probably do like this, though. Master Yi, Wuju Master, who is really devoted to what he's doing. So it's kind of the same thing with like Kale or with these two. I actually think he goes here because he is just like Leona and Diana. He cares a lot about what he's doing. He's very devoted. Misfortune, I mean, according to the lore, she's fun to party with, but also she is just kind of known as the lady with the big breasts. Yeah, I'm just gonna put her there. I'm gonna go with no on that one. I understand disagreements on that, though. I can clearly understand that. Mordekaiser is a weird one. As far as I know, he's a ghost under the armor, which is scary. So I think I put Mordekaiser here because these two are scary from the get-go. This guy at least has armor on, so like, yeah, he's a ghost, but at least he's got the armor going on. Morgana is kind of like Kale. They're sisters. I think I'll just put her next to her. She's the Justice one, and she is like the Goth GF one. I'm not into either, so I'm just gonna put it there. Nami, as far as I know, is a child. I'll put her over here with the supposed children. Nasus is a dog. He's smart, so there is that. I think he's someone that I would want to be friends with because basically the lore is that he defended the library of Shurima, which is the place that this guy, which Seer was the leader of. Because he defended a library for thousands of years, he's also probably read a bunch of books. So I'm gonna put him here because having intelligent conversations with Nasus would actually be interesting. Him and Heimerdinger are kind of the same thing, except Heimerdinger goes a bit higher because he can actually make things. This actually puts Darius like down here. Because I feel like, you know, I would value interesting conversations more over bar life. I think something like this is better. With that, I think Kindred actually goes here because she's kind of like, they're kind of like Kai'Sa, where it's like really interesting to talk to them about what they're about. Kai'Sa with the void and Kindred with the whole like death and what people chose and things like that, you know? I think that's really interesting. Nautilus is a guy who was on a ship. He fell off the ship, but he held on to the side and the ship was about to sink, so they had to let him go. And he sunk by himself, and now he is infused with the, I don't know, ship, I think, and uses the anchor as a weapon. So he definitely has the need for revenge towards the people that technically drowned him, but he doesn't have revenge for anything else. I will say, though, he looks kind of scary. He doesn't go and run, though, because he's not angry at you. He's angry at everybody else. So I'm gonna put him above Blitzcrank because he looks like a scarier robot than Blitzcrank. Nico, it's unclear. I think she's of age because she is actually, they do describe her sexuality in the lore. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that she is of age. Nico also has the ability to transform into others. So she could technically transform into anyone here. Now, so if you wanted a one night stand with anyone on the list, here's the person. So I would actually put her as the top of that. Nidalee she's a human that can transform into a cat, which you can argue that you could date the human form of Nidalee and that would be alright. But I just feel like the whole thing with her transforming into a cat is like a little bit strange. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that goes under other issues. Nocturne is basically the same as Fiddle, except he also makes the world around you dark, so I'm gonna put him here. They are both all about fear, but this guy also creates darkness while fearing you. Nunu is a child. You could probably date Willump, but Nunu wouldn't allow it. No, yeah, you could date Willump, but he wouldn't go without Nunu, so that's a no. Olaf is like a Viking type. He's just like the stereotypical Viking. He throws axes and is also angry. He would probably throw temper tantrums. He also wants to die fighting, meaning he probably goes here or something. Orianna goes next to Blitzcrank. I mean, she's a little more humanoid, but she's also just a robot. Ornn is kinda cool. He can craft you things, so instead of going out and buying gifts, he can just make you exclusive things, which is kinda cool. But that's really all he has going for him. I think I'm gonna put him here. I would say no to a lot of these people before saying no to Ornn, just because he's actually kinda cool. The only problem is he kinda didn't care about his village until they died. Little bit of the whole, like, not caring, but at the end of the day, alright. Pantheon, he's one of those that's just kind of like an attractive dude. It's a little bit boring. Like, let's be honest, it's slightly boring. Not really my thing. There's not much personality in it. Poppy, she's technically an adult. Generally speaking, she seems like a nice person. I believe she's described as being 200 years old. She's definitely dedicated to her stuff, right? But I think she's better than most of these women because she does it with the purpose of finding a hero, which I think is more... So, like, she's heroic compared to these people. Also, what she doesn't know is that she's the hero because she's the only one that can carry the hammer. Pike, scary guy. I think he goes here. And he goes above Mordekaiser because he can also, like, swim. Like, he goes invisible and swims, and you can just, like, hear him. Kiana, super entitled. More entitled than these guys. Actively annoying to listen to. She is like if you combined Lux's laugh with the entitlement of Draven and Jace, you'd have Kiana. Quinn, she has a bird. That's cool. But other than that, not really all that interesting. She's a scout. Not as interesting as, like, LeBlanc, Katarina, and Akali, though. Rakan goes into the married category alongside Saya because they are a couple and we're not gonna do anything about that. There we go. Rammus, the only thing he says is okay. Dude's okay with everything. I'll put him here. He's also okay with a no. Rek'Sai, as far as I know, a void monster, scary, will probably harm you, run away. It is a she, though, so there is that. Rel is a child, goes in the child. Renekton defended Shurima alongside Nasus, but this guy went crazy, so I think he goes next to Jinx. He actually goes below Jinx, because I think he has more thinking capability than Jinx, as far as I know. Rengar, I think, just goes next to Kha'Zix. I mean, they're both monsters that'll hunt you. Riven, her whole thing is she got exiled from Noxus, and now she's just, like, trying to find her own way or something, which I guess is kind of cool. Maybe there, like, she's interesting at least, so she goes by next to the interesting ladies. I actually want to move these up a little, because they are more interesting than most. So I'm gonna actually move these three up here. Alright. Rumble, as far as I know, is a child. Put him there. Ryze only cares about his scroll, so the answer is no, because he doesn't care about you. In the same way that, like, these people don't care about you. They'll care about whatever they're devoted to more than you. Samira, she seems kind of cool, but I don't know if I would want to be friends with her. She's also like a pirate, though. So I'm gonna put her by the interesting ladies, but below all of them. Alright, Sejuani. She does ride a boar, so there is that. But yeah, Not the most interesting either. Not a run, but like definitely not someone I'm interested in either. I'm gonna put her like here, along with the other one that has a pet. But the boar is kind of cooler than the bird, so I'll do that. Seraphine. Seraphine sings and her Irelia dances. I don't know. I guess dancing looks cooler, so I'll put her above Seraphine, I suppose. Set, cool guy, but that's about it. He's also a bit of a brat. He runs a fighting arena, which is also a little bit like... He also is very much a mama's boy, which... That's alright. It's more the fact that he's a little bit... He sounds entitled, and he just doesn't seem to care about you at all. Shaco is a clown, but he's like a demonic clown. And this isn't a mask, this is his actual face. I think he goes in Runaway. He goes by the fear... But he's not actively like... I don't think he's actively necessarily trying to scare you if he asks you to marry him. Shen goes... He is also someone that... He's a ninja, but also he will protect you, which is kind of cool. But it's not... I don't know. Maybe it's like the same as Galio. I feel like Galio shouldn't be up here, though. I'm gonna put Galio down here, actually. Because I feel like these are, like, you know, a little bit different for what they are. Like, two that are really devoted to their kids. One that's, like, the literal god of the universe. And then one that would, like, choose you not based on your looks. And then, of course, Braum, who is, like, the protector of all protectors and is really awesome. Shyvana, I mean, it's a no. She can turn into a dragon, so that's kind of cool. You could put her in the friends one. But that's also a little bit scary, you know? I think it's scarier than the spiders. It's also scarier than this. Singed, run away, he will actively harm you. Scion, I am unclear on Scion, but he is, as far as I know, dead. And I think it's just a runaway, because he is scary looking. Sivir is a mercenary. She steals and stuff, and I don't like that, so I think we'll put her... I mean, stealing and it kind of goes along with the entitled people, right? Like, maybe. Skarner. Friends. He's lonely, and I want to be friends with him. I know he looks menacing, but in his lore, he's just a lonely guy. Actually, I'm gonna put a Mumu next to him. They're both lonely, and I would just want to be their friend. And Mumu will kind of curse you if you go near him, but at the end of the day, like, friends, yes please, you know? Sona, I have always said that Sona has a really nice looking face. Does that mean that I would date Sona? No, but it does put her above some of the other ladies. I'm gonna say it puts her here. Soraka, she has a goat horn, which it's not as bad as the tentacles, I think, but it's still kind of bad. Swain is a scary one. He is as far as I remember, a war general, and also summons flocks of birds to attack for him, and that is pretty scary. I don't know if he would actively harm you, but he is scary. I think he's scary, so I'm gonna put him there. Okay, Silas, one night stand. Silas is attractive, and he also has chains. Enough said. Syndra throws around dark magic. I mean, it's more interesting than some of the ladies up here, but not all of them. I'm actually gonna put her, like, here. Tahm Kench is also... I mean, technically, you should run away, but if he's there and you're bargaining with Tahm Kench, you're probably already dead. I am still gonna put him in run away, though, because if you encounter Tahm Kench, the whole idea is you get a good deal now, but then he will take your life or do something else horrible to you later. Taliyah, I believe, is a child, so we're gonna put her in the child category. Talon, he's like an edgelord. He's one of the edgelords in League of Legends. Where do we place those? I mean, Kayn is here, but he's there because not because he's an edgelord, but because he has the chance to harm you if the demon takes over. But I think I'll put edgelords like here. Like, I'm not interested in people who are too edgy, but am I more interested in them than the boring ladies? I don't know. They're not as scary. I don't put it like, but yeah, below Lux seems fine. Tarek is protector of Targon, I believe, which basically just means that he climbed a mountain and got some powers. I'll put him next to Galio. Teemo, This guy is a war veteran. I think he goes like up here somewhere. I think he goes by the Dragon Lady because he's a little bit scary, but he's not like, you know, I turn into a dragon type of scary. Thresh, very easy. One night stand again. He actually like goes all... I actually want to rearrange these. The order is probably more like this. Thresh is the Chain Ward, and I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. He will probably steal your soul, though, if you try something, but I'm gonna say that's worth it. Tristana, I believe she's 50, but just in case, I'm gonna put her with the kids. Alright, Trundle is a troll. I don't know if it's literal runaway tier, but it's definitely high on the no list. He is a troll that just runs around and smacks things. He's kind of like Aatrox, where you could talk to them, but you don't know. Maybe they could snap at you, potentially. So I'll put him there. Twisted Fate is kind of a cool person, but that's about it. Like, he plays with cards, that's definitely a plus, but he's also kind of like a magician. He does tricks. He kind of tricks you. I think that goes next to LeBlanc. That probably goes next to LeBlanc, because she's also like a trickster. Twitch is a literal poisonous rat. Don't get near him. You'll get poisoned, just like Singe. Udyr is a man who transforms into various animals. I mean, he's not technically a monster, so I'll put him up here somewhere, but I'm gonna try to figure out where. I don't know if he's scary enough to go up here, but he might go, like, around this area where it's like, you probably don't want him around, but it's not as bad as some of these people. Urgot is scary. I think he goes in the run tier. He probably goes, like, next to Scion. I don't know. Would he harm you? I think he will. Varys is 2 dudes in 1. I mean, it's still a no, but that is something to consider. He probably goes next to Talon, because he's also kind of an edgelord. Vayne is kinda cool, but also... I'll put Janna and Sona above her, because I feel like they are at least, like, a little bit pretty. I don't like Vayne as much. Veigar, I mean, I think he's a kid. But, I mean, he might not be, but he sounds like a child. He sounds like he's 10, so I don't know. Vel'Koz has a lot of knowledge, just like Nasus, but also has tentacles. So we're gonna say that the knowledge bumps him up a little bit, because at the end of the day, like, that makes him a little more interesting than Illaoi, and Illaoi is a little more scary than him. But also, the way he acquires the knowledge is by disintegrating people, so he might disintegrate you as well. I feel like that kind of goes here, where it's like they might harm you. I'm gonna put him here next to Malzahar, the other void creature. Yeah, I feel like that sounds about right. Vex is very depressing to listen to. She goes in no for sure, and I think she goes very high on the no list. All she does is talk about how everything sucks, basically, so I'm gonna put her like here. Viego, let's be honest, he probably belongs up here because he can transform into everybody, and his base form is also really attractive. But the problem is that either it is pre-ruination Viego, and he's gonna sit and talk to his sister all day long. I believe it's his sister. I don't remember. Or it's just Soulbound. It might be a Soulbound. I don't remember exactly. But he's gonna be talking to that person the entire day and not ever talking to you. Or it's post-ruination. He looks like what he does now, and he doesn't talk and just runs around and kills things. I feel like either way would suck. Like, I think I have to bump Viego down. I think he goes here, because he is kind of like Kayn, where he's scary. Victor, the way he looks in Arcane is awesome, but man, all the robot parts and stuff he replaced himself with probably puts him all the way up here. He is scary. He's scary to look at. All he cares about is upgrading himself. I don't think he's as scary that you should just run away from him, but scary nevertheless. Vi is one of the cooler ladies in the game. I'll say that. I think she goes here. Vladimir, he sucks your blood. That's a no from me. He will harm you. He will actively harm you. So that's the top of the no. It's the closest to run away without running away, you know? Valdebert, he's a god, essentially. He's one of the gods of Runeterra, but, I mean, Ornn is his brother, so maybe putting him next to Ornn would be fair, but I feel like he's less interesting. So let's put him here next to, like, the uninteresting people. I'm gonna put him there. Warwick, he probably goes like here. No, he doesn't go above Cho'Gath. Well, yes, he does. He goes here because he will also actively harm you and try to eat you, probably. Wukong is one of the Wuju specialists, I believe, and he's like, alright. I wouldn't mind him. Where are we putting Wukong? I think he's not super boring, but he's just kind of devoted like these guys, I think. Serath. So Serath is evil in the lore. He took a Seer spot when he tried to ascend, meaning getting powers or whatever. I don't know exactly what it means, but he was a slave boy that a Seer took in and took care of, gave him the name Serath, and then he betrayed him. So with that in mind, he's going like there or something. He's worse than the robots. He's not as bad as the people who will actively harm you, but he's definitely up there. Xin Xiao, a pretty basic but attractive guy, I suppose. It goes above the basic but attractive ladies, I suppose, because, yeah, I would rather a dude. Yasuo, edgelord, next to Talon. He's more edgy, no, a little less edgy, and Yon goes next to Yasuo. Because they're brothers, and, this seems about right. Yorick, he cares about his maiden and his schools, but other than that, he seems like he wouldn't really care about you. I think he kind of goes above a Seer, because this guy is also a little bit more scary looking than a Seer, so I'm gonna put him here. Seems evil, but does it out of a good heart. Something about saving the Shadow Isles and stuff like that. He's not a bad guy. He just looks scary and is definitely devoted to other stuff at the moment. Yuumi, she's a cat. She goes in other reasons. Zac is an interesting one, because he's made out of blubber, basically, and he can rearrange his blubber in any way you want. Maybe he'll do party tricks with the blobs? Sure. Yeah, I'll put him in friends. I was considering One Night Stand for the reason that he can rearrange his blobs, so anyone could technically get what they wanted from him. But whatever. I think we'll just put him there. Zed goes with the edgelords. He, I think, is more edgy and he's a little more scary looking, so he goes above all of them. Ziggs, he's definitely an adult, but wow is he a danger. He'd be fun at parties, though. I'm gonna probably put him in Runaway, but he goes all the way down here because at the very least he's not super scary looking. He's actually also fairly hilarious, kind of like Shaco, but yeah, Shaco is also a demonic clown, whereas this guy is just kind of a yordle that plays with explosives. Dillion is a Time Lord. He basically can rewind time and do things like that, and he can also save you from dying. The only thing that goes against Dillion is his age. He's a little old, he could be your granddad, probably. I don't want to put him all the way up here where it's the horrible ones, but it's I'm gonna put him, I think, after the edgelords, because he's not a bad person like some of these other people are, or he's not dangerous or will harm you or anything. He's just kind of a little too old for me, Zoe, child. Syra, she has plants. It will probably hurt in some way. I mean, she'll accidentally harm you, kind of like Camille will, because her plants have thorns on them. So I feel like she would just kind of harm you. Zeri, I actually don't know. She seems very, fun. I think I'll put her in the friend category because she just kind of seems like she's having fun on the rift. Sure, why not? Renata is cool. She's a cool lady. Of all the ladies, she probably goes the highest. I don't know if she goes in I would date them category, though. It's kind of maybe she just goes next to these guys because she would be interesting to talk to. Yeah, I feel like she goes right here. So that's it. We have officially made the tier list, guys. With all that being said, thank you all very much for watching.